So greetings. In today's class on embedded program, we shall see about the keywords and identifiers. So keywords are reserved words that have predefined meanings in the C language. Their meanings are fixed by the compiler. They perform specific functions. They cannot be used as variable names, function names, or identifiers. So we all know from the name itself, keywords are fixed. So they will have a meaning. So that cannot be used if you used in a variable name, and that will go wrong. And what are the characteristics? They are reserved words, lowercase only, they cannot be modified, and it is recognized by the compiler automatically. Frequently used embedded C keywords is given: constant, CONST, volatile, static, register, unsigned, signed, type D. So all these are frequently used embedded C keywords. And some of the special keywords used in embedded systems: one is volatile. It is used for hardware register whose values may change unexpectedly. And you can see the example as volatile, unsigned char port A. So it should be understood that port A value will get changed. And you can see the next one is CONST, constant, defines read-only data. So it's going to be constant int max is equal to 100. So this is usually it's used for the lookup table to define or to store all the predefined data in the read-only memory. And another example what is given is static. So preserves variable value throughout program execution. So you can see static int count is equal to 0. So this is a value that is to be stored and it has been preserved. So this, whenever it's needed, this data can be used. And the next one is a register. It suggests storing variables in CPU register for faster access. So you know that these registers are called as general purpose registers. It's available inside the CPU. So what you can say as it can be stored inside the CPU register itself. So you have a keyword as register. So register int I. So the same thing when you go into an assembly language programming, you need to know all the registers inside the processor. But here you can just mention as register int I. And what are identifiers? Identifiers are user-defined names used to identify a program elements. So keywords are identified by the compiler and it's already defined and it has to be mentioned in the same way. So these are user-defined elements, names. And some of the examples are variables, functions, arrays, structures and labels. So you can see as int temperature, float voltage and void LED on. So these you can call that as all these are user defined names. So some of the examples what I've given is in temperature, float voltage, void LED on. And here the temperature, voltage, LED on, these are identifiers. So by mistake it's pasted 2 times. So but this is all these are identifiers. And rules for naming the identifier. So what is a rule? An identifier must begin with a letter or an underscore. It can contain letters, digits, underscore. It cannot contain spaces, cannot begin with numbers, cannot use special symbols, cannot be a keyword. So what is the difference between a keyword and identifiers? So these are, on to the left is keyword and to the right is identifier. Keywords are reserved words, fixed meaning, cannot be modified, limited in number, and it's recognized by the compiler. Whereas identifiers are user defined names, programmer chooses names, can be modified, unlimited, and it's created by the programmer. So you can see an example. So you can see an hash include and a header file is included, and we have mentioned port A as unsigned char, and this is again you should understand it can be of about 8-bit port, and again it is mentioned as volatile. So why volatile? Because the port A values may get changed. And you can see inside the main program, you can see you have int sensor value. So this is again a variable that is given, and it is mentioned with a value 100. It's initialized with a value 100. We already know it's an identifier, and you can understand this should be, it's easy to understand the program. So a sensor value is given and it's mentioned as int, so this can go up to 16 bit, that is around 65,536 value. It can go to a larger value, and if it's go, and what the program says, if that sensor value is greater than 50, port A should move a value of 1. So port A value will become changed. So this is what is a embedded C example, and you can see all the variables and the keywords here. Thank you.